And we need a place in the country. Don't we, Charles?
We sure do, honey.
You know, I was listening to Dreamers Pro yesterday. You know, like I said, I've been trying to tune these guys out, man. These, you know, a lot of them, you know, like ESPN. I watch ESPN just for sports. If the game is on or if it's Sports Center, you know, I stopped trying to watch First Take, all these talk shows and things like that, because, like, you know, they're standing in the way of the sports, man. And they're, you know, and a lot of their opinions aren't genuine. They're biased. And, you know, when I was listening to Dreamers Pro yesterday, he played the segment with Gilbert Arenas talking about Mike, and, you know, I don't believe that Gilbert Arenas believes what he's saying either. He's bugging, man. He's bugging, man. You know, I only got a few subscribers. I'm not in this for, you know, to be rich and famous. I know I'll never be that. Just, you know, I like to voice my opinion, and a lot of stuff that I say, it be the same things other people feel. So I felt like sharing myself with the world, pause. And, you know, because, you know, a lot of us got the same thoughts. Yo, this dude is bugging, B.
So do I.
Like, the things he was saying, it didn't make any sense, man. You said that Michael Jordan wouldn't be relevant if it wasn't for LeBron James. Like, what are you talking about, man? Come on, B. Like, this is what I be saying. Like, some of these ball players, just because you play the game, man, it just go. Y'all niggas keep making my point, man. Just because you play the game don't mean you know what you're talking about, man. Some of these dudes just say anything, man. And you gotta have people like Dreamers Pro, me, you know, guys like Ticket, Carcino, you know, Kwame, you know, guys gotta push back on that. Whether you're a former player or somebody that is a student of the game that watches basketball, maybe you play ball outside or any kind of sport, whatever it is, you may play when you was a kid or whatever, but you understand the sport, man. You watch sports, you know, you're in tune with it. You're not a casual fan. You know, casual fans don't know what they're talking about because they don't watch, like, intently like we do. They don't study the game. They're not into it. They just watching it because it's on, or because it's a fight on or something. You know, their big fight. They know big names in boxing, and those are like casuals, man. Those are people that don't know the sport that they're watching. Really, they just looking at it because it's on. We talking about like, there's people like me that, you know, read almanacs, that watch sports religiously. I've been watching sports for 40 years, B. I watched half of Magic era, Bird. I watched Jordan's era. I watched Kobe's era. And I explained to this kid, I watched LeBron's era. Like, I don't have a problem if you say, hey, LeBron was the best of his era, of his generation, probably from 2010 or 11 to, you know, 2020. If you want to say you had that decade, I'm cool with that, because he did dominate the East. And he had it, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's kind of like what Gilbert was kind of saying a little bit. Like, you know, well, you know, people watch Kobe's era, and you know, they say Kobe was the GOAT because they didn't see Mike. If you say that, all right, in his generation, LeBron was the best, we can do that. We can say that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll say he's the best of his era. You know what I'm saying? He had a great run, better run than everybody else that's in his era. Because remember, half of his era was dealing with Kobe. Kobe was having his best years. And then remember, Kobe, you know, got the team to himself finally. And then we left them with table scraps. And he made it work. Eventually, you know, it took him a few years, but he got his championships, and he, you know, he showed that he can be almost as dominant without that mega superstar
precautions to you.
than
Call
with
right
the superstar
now to get
Shaq.
your free copy
And
of the WellCare All-in-One Guide.
he showed
Call
that, you know, he can dominate,
now.
you know,
There's
against,
absolutely
you know,
no obligation for
guys like Duncan and you know, he beat Dwight Howard. You know, he proved himself, right? And LeBron has proved himself when he came back to 3-1 deficit against Golden State, when it was him and Kyrie, and Kevin Love was supposed to be like a big three, but he tried to form a super team, but you know, with him forming a super team, somebody's going to suffer, and it was pretty much Kevin Love, because Kevin Love needs the ball. So without you know, guys getting him the ball, he was kind of in effect relegated to a spot-up shooter if you're not going to get him the ball. So, you know, it was kind of, you know what I mean? So, you know, they had a good team. It wasn't just Kyrie and him. They had a good team. And they came back. You get credit for that. Besides that, you played a weak East, but you did what you're supposed to do. You won. You got to the championships. You know, you didn't really have those great moments. Your moment was kind of ruined by J.R. Smith. And I think that situation changed that series, and I think he gave up. You can see he gave up. But aside of, you know, him losing to Golden State several times, and aside of, you know, of that, he dominated. You know, so he kind of, you know, he was the man from 2011 to 2020. You know, he had a nice little decade run where he was, you know, probably, you know, I wouldn't say clearly, but because there had some moments of Kevin Durant where we was kind of like questioning. But, you know, Kevin Durant wasn't, he cooked in the finals. He played on that super team. That's always going to hurt his legacy slightly when we try to rank him, because, like, you didn't lead your team personally. You had the team in OKC, and you didn't lead them to the championships like you should have. You got to one, and y'all got spanked. But, you know, Kevin Durant was arguably one of the best players in this generation. Definitely one of, but the best, I doubt it. I wouldn't say that. LeBron was a little bit more effective than him. Steph Curry changed the game. But Steph Curry, you know, LeBron overall does a little bit more on that court. You know what I'm saying? He affect the game on both ends. You know, when he was, you know, had his run. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to say LeBron was the best of his era, like when he had his run, hey, I'm with that. From 2004 to 2011 or 2010, I'm gonna go with Kobe. Kobe was the best player. You know what I'm saying? Probably, and then AI was probably the best player from 96 to about maybe 2002, 2000. Once Kobe started really asserting himself more, scoring, like, he started, like, you know, I gotta remember, Kobe was only 17 when he came in the league. But the comparisons to Jordan, like, Jordan dominated the game like no one else did, dude. I don't understand this argument, man. And his sneakers still sell, like James Poe say, his sneakers is relevant. His clothing is relevant. Niggas buy his clothes, his sneakers to this day. Everybody knows that Mike's better. You can look at the highlights and just clearly see. You can look at the old games and see the atmosphere, everything. I mean, it's not like you were there. Like, we weren't there to watch Kareem and them play, but we could look at what was happening as far as the outcomes of the seasons. When you look at the outcome when Jordan was playing and he was at his top of his game and he got his run going, he dominated. That's why I have him number one, because when he took the lead from Magic and took that baton from Magic, he dominated from there. We can't say that about everybody else. Like no one dominated like he did. Not going to 7 games. You know what I'm saying? When it's, you know, 3-peating twice, retiring, coming back, getting to the conference finals, then you 3-peat again after that. Like, you know what I mean? Come on, man. Like, no one was level leading scoring 10 years straight. Like, he accomplished more in less time. Like, at some point, you gotta stop this shit, man. But the stuff Gil was saying, and then the cheerleader in the background, the dude, you know, Dwight Howard, man, you wasn't supposed to let, unless you felt like that too, then you know,
I'll be right back.
I get it. But if you gonna feel like that and you allow that man and no pushback, come on, fam. Like, not letting you say that, man. Fam, you out of your fucking mind, B. Like,
It's still there.
it's not even close, man.
Oh, when we got home,
I don't have
had to
LeBron better
convince
than
myself it was real and not just a
Bird
magical dream.
because we saw Bird dominate the game.
I still believe
We
in
saw
fairy
Magic
tales
dominate
and
the
happy
game.
endings.
People keep putting Kareem ahead of him. I don't understand that either. They was making everything they were saying on that segment was contradictory. Oh, but if you look at numbers and you don't look at championships and like, I don't even want to get into what they were saying. This shit was just retarded, dude. Like, none of it made sense. It was all contradictory. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Jordan is still relevant, man. He's always going to be relevant,
I
man.
hope you haven't changed
But
your
he was
mind.
they were calling him the GOAT before he watched him. They were saying the same thing about LeBron, but when we saw
Just as
Mike
beautiful as ever.
take the baton, he never let the baton drop. We seen LeBron drop that baton, man. It was passed on to him and he dropped it several times. He knelt down in the fight. You never seen Jordan do that. It's like, why are you comparing him? Like, if you want to say, you know, his generation, he was the best,
A man in your
you know,
position. This may certainly
that's the
seem
argument
like
between
a
him,
struggle.
Kobe,
Charles
and Duncan. Because we can't forget Tim Duncan. He got 5 of them in there. This is why, like, when you look at when Kobe, you know, in his era, Tim Duncan won 5. In the Shaq era, you know, Kobe didn't necessarily dominate the league. You know, you say he's the closest thing to Jordan as far as the way he played the game, his tenacity and things like that. But when it came to dominating the league, he wasn't, he didn't, you know what I'm saying, his run started a little bit,
You're right, Samantha.
it started late and then
I can't let you have
it
it.
wasn't sustained. Then he had the injuries.
Why?
It's a question of
But,
sleeping.
you know, the first 7 years of his career, I think if he had his own team, it might have been a little different. He'd probably get more GOAT recognition because he would have started quicker. But because he started without his own team, it's like people don't want to really count those 3 rings. Like Shaq just carrying him, which wasn't the case. Kobe was leading them in scoring. Kobe was cooking in the playoffs, man. It's just that when it was go time, you give that ball to the workhorse. When you look at Mike didn't have no Shaq, none of that. Mike, it was just Mike really was the primary scorer, primary everything on that team. He just dominated the game better, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you look at the old eras like Dr. J, and Dr. J was dominating in the ABA, and then he came in the NBA, he couldn't really sustain it as much. He was, you know, taking some L's in the finals, and that hurt his legacy, because Dr. J could have had about 2 or 3. And then that argument may change again because he won them in the ABA too. And then you look at Kareem. Kareem was struggling in the 70s after he won his first chip. He didn't, even though he was putting up numbers, it wasn't resulting to nothing, man. It was his first round exits, missing the playoffs, beat down in the finals, and you know, it wasn't really for a decade until Magic got there, and then Magic, you know what I'm saying, played with Kareem, and they got championships. They won 5. You know, they had James Worthy. You know, Magic, when he came in the league, it was just go time. This is the difference between why I keep him on my Mount Rushmore, him and Larry Bird. When they came in the league, it was just go time. Wasn't no waiting around or I had to learn this and that. They just was winning. First year, second year. Listen, we going to the finals, man. That's it. Conference championships and finals, man. So you gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta honor that, man. You know what I'm saying? They dominated the 80s. The Pistons snuck a couple in the late 80s and 90. And then Jordan dominated the decade like no one else did. Bill Russell won 11, but Bill Russell had a mob. Yeah, look at the players he had, man. Havlicek, Bob Cousy. Look at the mob he had, man. And he had one of the greatest guards ever. People, you know what I'm saying, forget how great those dudes was, man. But, you know, I don't know, man. I think, you know, Gilbert Arenas is just trolling, man. I don't think he believes that shit either, man. That shit was wild what he was saying. None of that shit made sense, man. Like, I don't even really want to repeat it, but it just didn't make any sense, man. Anyway, man, I'm out of here, man. Just my thoughts on that video. Manyface Publishing, man. Peace.